1080p. Not that it matters, I'm streaming in 720, but yeah. We're covering the SpaceX CRS-18 launch. Let me increase the volume a little bit. Wherever I go. Oops, I muted it by accident. We'll go like 75%. That might be a little too loud. Maybe 50%? 50% looks good to me. Yeah. I can it's not gonna drown out my voice, I don't think. Okay, I'm not sure why it started this early. Launch isn't for. It's quite a bit away, you know. It's like 30 minutes plus away. And as for Starhopper, the hop is apparently supposed to okay, the window opens at 6. That would be 6 local, I think. So that's in an hour and 15 minutes. But the launch is going to be, or the hop is going to be later than that. Honestly, I didn't actually want to come on this soon because I don't really have anything to talk about. But I wasn't sure if there was going to be something before that. Oh, the rain band is almost at the Cape. Yeah, they're trying to dodge rain at the same time as they're trying to launch from launch CRS-18. They only have one. It's an instantaneous launch from tonight, so they only have one chance. If it's scrub, if there's any sort of delay, if it's no-go conditions, they're gonna have to go again tomorrow or whenever they can. Doesn't look that bad at the moment. Alright, I'll just see you back when there's something. I'll come back when there's something to, you know, talk about. Just enjoy the music until then, I suppose. Alright, there gonna be callouts in this one. Honestly, might go back to the other one. There's music in here. I thought there were gonna be more callouts on that one, but I guess they're not particularly talkative today. Launches as of now still go, so we'll see. Fueling has begun. Okay, so launch is in about 30 minutes. I think they just accidentally started the webcast way too early. That seems to be what they've done. Oh. It's not really a whole lot to talk about. Alright. Like I said before, this instantaneous launch window. There's only one shot at this. Any delay whatsoever, they're going to another day. So. And the Cape's about to be hit by a thunderstorm, so, well, not really a thunderstorm, by a band of rain, so we'll see. Okay, so update. There's a 90% chance of 90% probability of violation of launch conditions. which means there's a 10% chance of that the weather will be good for launch. So, not looking too good. But they're still going for it. They're gonna try. So we'll see what happens. They might be able to get it off before the rain comes. Bringing it back down through the rain is probably gonna be a little iffy, but we'll see.
needed astronaut supplies and research experiments up to the International Space Station. And we have a team of correspondents across the country helping us cover all the angles of this launch. We will head to the Mission Director Center here on the Space Coast to get updates on the weather
TV is
and the
live.
countdown.
The coverage
And
of
we'll
it is
head
live.
west to SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
That's all I have to do for now.
And check in at Mission Control Houston at Johnson Space Center. We
What?
also have a
Really?
correspondent standing by with some
Freaking
of the
NASA.
agency's top science experts. But first, here are some quick facts
That looks
about
like
today's
absolute
launch.
garbage on my 1080p monitor.
SpaceX transported the Falcon 9 rocket out to the launch pad and lifted it to vertical launch position for the 18th
Yep, that's
cargo
how it works.
resupply mission to the International Space Station. The plan is to keep the Dragon spacecraft docked to station for about 4 weeks before bringing it back to Earth. This is the third flight for this Dragon spacecraft and the second time this Falcon booster has been flown. Dragon will deliver more than 5,000 pounds of astronaut supplies and
Proportions
payloads
here are a little
for
bit
science
off,
research
but
to the orbital
I'll allow it.
laboratory. Now let's bring in NASA's Daryl Nail, who is in the Mission Director Center just a few miles away from the launch pad. Daryl?
Yeah, Jennifer, the big story right now is the weather and concern that it could violate the launch criteria. This has been an ongoing concern since the forecast was first
It's
put
almost
out.
on you guys.
But now there's a storm cell approaching the pad that they are concerned could cause a problem with launch. As you look at this
That would be
view
it right there.
of the pad, you can see
I think.
pieces of blue sky, little patches that have opened up. We
This
have
whole
a low
thing.
pressure system that's stalled out over central Florida, but just recently some of those clouds parted,
Oh, yeah.
allowing
There you
some
go.
of the sun to come through in a certain portion of the spaceport here. But there are dark areas around it, and we have, as you can see on this radar, a clump of storms heading our way out from the south-southwest. They are headed into the area, and according to the Air Force weather officer, they will possibly create no-go conditions for launch at the T0 mark. Now, despite this, SpaceX is discussing continuing on with the countdown, and so that's where we're at T-minus 21 minutes and counting. As you can see, that's the CRS-18 current forecast, which has just been updated. Winds 15 to 20 miles per hour out of the southwest. They're not a factor. Temperature 83 degrees.
Well, they're blowing
Also
the
not a
storm
factor,
in.
But the concerns are the attached anvil rule, the cumulus cloud rule, and the lightning rule. So, probability of violation stands at 90%. Only 10% go for launch because of that storm cell and its approach here to the spaceport. So, of course, we are monitoring that situation, which they are discussing at this very moment. But we want to pause for
There's
just
pretty
a
much no
minute to
chance
pay
of it going
tribute
today.
to a NASA legend here at
Aw,
the Space Center
don't
who
do
passed
it.
away on Monday. We are remembering
Okay,
a
do it.
pioneer and a legend,
You'll do it.
Christopher
I'll allow
Kraft.
it.
He passed away on Monday at the age of 95. Kraft created the concept of NASA's mission control. Kraft was flight director during some of the most iconic moments of space history during Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo, and his work continued all the way into the shuttle program. Kraft received numerous awards and honors for his accomplishments,
Rest in
and they
peace.
include NASA's Outstanding Leadership Medal and 4 NASA Distinguished Service Medals. All right, we're going to stay tuned and keep in touch with launch teams here at Hangar AE at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. As you look, you can see the Falcon 9 rocket is being fueled up, and they are proceeding
Oh,
with the
those
count.
clouds
However,
do not look good.
weather is not looking good at this very moment. So for now, we'll toss it back to you, Jennifer. Have another update in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Daryl. We'll check back with you a little later. Right now, we are at T-minus 19 minutes and counting. Let's check in with SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
Who are you? I
where
don't-
the
I don't
Falcon 9
recognize
rocket
you.
and Crew Dragon were designed and built. Virgil Kellehessen is joining us live from SpaceX's Mission Control Center. Virgil, will you tell us a little bit about Dragon's history and reusability?
Sure thing, Jennifer. Thank you. This mission marks SpaceX's 9th launch of 2019, and today we'll be launching a flight-proven Dragon spacecraft. This launch is also particularly exciting as it will be the first time we've flown Dragon for a 3rd mission. This vehicle visited the International
Yes,
Space Station
third
previously
time.
for our
This
CRS-6
one's
mission back in April
flown.
2015 and for CRS-13 in December 2017. Both Falcon 9 and Dragon were designed with reflight in mind, so the vehicle hardware is built to support multiple missions with minimal refurbishment in between.
CRS-18 was the first launch of this pad. First launch off of this pad after it got blown up in September 2016.
After stage separation, we'll be bringing it back to land at Landing Zone 1 at Cape Canaveral so that it can be reused on future missions. Of course, this is if we launch today. To provide a little historical background, in 2010, SpaceX became the first private company to send a spacecraft to orbit and return it to Earth. And only 2 years later, Dragon became the first privately developed spacecraft to visit the space station. Our Dragon spacecraft has been flying for nearly 7 years now, and today it's one of the few vehicles that can deliver significant cargo to the ISS, and the only one that can deliver cargo from it. To date, SpaceX has made 19 trips to the ISS, and we're under contract with NASA for a total of 26 of these cargo resupply missions. With that, back to you,
Just trying to adjust volume.
Thanks, Virgil. Liftoff of today's rocket from Launch Complex 40 is timed down right to the very second. The reason for this? SpaceX needs to get their cargo spacecraft lined up to rendezvous with the International Space Station. For more on this, let's check in with NASA's Leah Cheshire, who's live at Johnson Space Center in Houston. Leah?
Thanks, Jennifer, and welcome to the International Space Station Flight Control Room here in Houston. And it's actually housed within the Christopher Kraft Mission Control Center, so a sweet tribute earlier, and we're still thinking of his life and legacy here as well. Now, teams here, each flight director is an expert on a specific system aboard the International Space Station, and those flight controllers here are going to be led by Flight Director Royce Renfrew today. We have 6 astronauts aboard the International Space Station right now. That's Christina Cook, Alexei Ovchinin, and Nick Hague, who all arrived in March. Luca Parmitano, Alexander Skvortsov, and Andrew Morgan actually just arrived this past Saturday, July 20th, which was also the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. It's in the 10 o'clock hour aboard the International Space Station. They use Greenwich Mean Time, so the astronauts are currently off duty and have the opportunity.
Well, they don't use Greenwich Mean Time, they use UTC, but it's not much difference.
Once Dragon launches and arrives at the International Space Station, which is currently scheduled for Friday, July 26th, NASA astronaut Nick Hague will take his place at the cupola and use the station's Canadarm2 to reach out and grapple the spacecraft. He'll be backed up by NASA's Christina Cook. Now, once that's complete, they will turn controls over to the robotics controller here on the ground, who will also use the Canadarm2 to reposition the spacecraft and bring it up to the station's Harmony module, where it will be berthed after a series of 16 bolts. Dragon will remain attached for about a month, and those are our upcoming things we're looking forward to. So we hope you will join us 7:30 a.m. Central Time on Friday morning. Until then, hoping for a launch today, and back to you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Leah. A wide variety of research has been taking place on low Earth orbit for the past 18 years. The International Space Station is also a testbed for space technology. To tell us more about this is NASA's Laura Aguiar, who is awaiting launch with one of the agency's top science officials. Laura?
Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, science is soaring into space. And with me
Looks
now
like the rain's beginning
is
to dissipate.
Pete Hasbrook. He is the manager of the
I noticed that
Space
when
Station
I was
Program
watching
Science
the
Office.
video.
Pete, give us an
Not this
overview
one,
of
the other
what's
one.
on CRS-18.
The angle looking this way.
There's some great things on this flight. We have over 40 experiments.
I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't sure what it was looking like over here. It doesn't look much worse than that angle. This shot.
One of the other key things is the
It looks pretty good from this angle.
It will give us a second docking port on the ISS.
Is this stuff coming this way? Yeah, it looks like it's coming this way a little bit.
Okay, so what role does the International Space Station play in the Artemis program and NASA's Moon to Mars exploration plans?
We have a very big role. We've been supporting exploration development for many years in the space station, primarily in 2 areas. One of them is in human research and understanding the risks to people who travel long distances in confined environments. We want to understand what those risks are, how we can strategies for how we can control the risks and mitigate them and keep the crew safe and healthy. We also have technology demonstration and development, where we offer a test bed for you to fly your space equipment before it's really fully
Nice
ready.
shot of the VAB.
Come test it out on the space station in the low gravity environment. We've got a crew who can fix it. You can run through all the contingency modes that you never want to use. At worst, you bring it home. So life support systems, communication, power, lots of areas that we're supporting.
Okay, so there was some recent news about new opportunities for commercial business and maybe even some people traveling to space?
Very exciting for us. NASA we know that there's a commercial desire for a commercial market out there for space. NASA being the initial space station platform, we can help set the foothold for people who want to go do business in space.
Okay, the
And so we are
SpaceX
making some of our
webcast
resources
has started.
available for people.
So let's switch over to that.
Third mission, as you can see here by the two flight-proven decals on the left side of the vehicle. This particular Dragon visited the ISS previously for cargo resupply missions in April 2015 and December 2017. Now this is a pretty big accomplishment and underscores SpaceX's commitment to reusability and making spaceflight more accessible. You'll also notice
the main issue for
Dragon, which SpaceX added to commemorate and celebrate the 50th anniversary of
the main
Apollo
issue
11.
they're chasing right now is the rain that's coming in from the west.
On the moon in the summer of 1969, making them the first humans to land.
Very good chance that there's not going to be a launch today.
Both
So
Falcon 9 and Dragon were designed with reflight
we'll
in
see.
mind, so the vehicle hardware is built to support multiple missions with minimal refurbishment in between. While this Dragon has flown twice before, the booster we'll be flying today has only flown once before on CRS-17 of this year. And after stage separation, we'll be attempting to bring it back to land at Landing Zone 1 at Cape Canaveral for future missions. And above our first stage is the second stage, which has a single Merlin vacuum or MVAC engine, which ignites after the first stage separates. The second stage is what will carry Dragon to its intended orbit, allowing this spacecraft to eventually rendezvous with the International Space Station.
Yeah, they're waiting for the last chance, the last final second
RP1 fuel. We're gathering data on how sunlight
before
affects the
making
temperature of the fuel
the
remaining
decision.
in the second stage after we get to orbit. This data will help us further understand how fuel temperatures fluctuate during longer missions like those required in the Air Force. And lastly, one more interesting highlight on today's mission, the outside of the Dragon has been outfitted with 4 ceramic heat shield tiles we are testing for our currently in development Starship vehicle. You might be able to see those black tiles at the bottom of the capsule just above Dragon's trunk. These test-only Starship tiles are being added to this mission to gather data in advance of flying crew on future Starship missions. This is similar to the addition of test tiles to previous CRS missions to gather data.
Yeah, that's neat. I didn't. No one caught that one.
It's also worth noting that SpaceX and NASA evaluated each test tile to ensure there is no elevated risk to tonight's CRS mission.
Now, at this point, we're just above T-minus 11 minutes from liftoff, and the SpaceX team is tracking no significant issues with the vehicle. A go-no-go poll was conducted at T-minus 38 minutes, and propellant loading began shortly after at T-minus 35 minutes. Now, at this point, fuel is fully loaded on the second stage, nearly fully loaded on the first stage, and liquid oxygen loading has begun on both the first and second stage, which you can see the condensation from that cool liquid oxygen at the bottom of your screen. We're also loading helium gas into both the stages. Falcon 9
those clouds are getting really close.
The propellant tanks as we consume those propellants by the Merlin 1D engines during ascent. Dragon also began its startup auto sequences at T-minus 35 minutes when it coordinated timing with Falcon 9. It's currently undergoing a series of vehicle health checks with its next major step in about 2 minutes at T-minus 8 when Dragon transitions to its internal battery power. Now, the range at Cape Canaveral is ready to support today's mission. They've issued a series of keep clear and safe zones in the air and sea surface around the launch area. Currently, both the air and sea surface zones are clear for launch. Weather has been a little bit tough today.
A little bit tough. Okay.
Largely attached.
That's one way of putting it.
High up in the atmosphere have been making the probability of launch today pretty tight.
Pretty tight, yeah. 10% chance of launch is pretty tight.
Chance to launch today's mission to the International Space Station. So with that, the launch team, Falcon 9, Dragon, and the range reporting green, and hopefully the weather cooperating. We're about T-minus 9 minutes and 30 seconds to liftoff. All systems are go.
Our Dragon spacecraft has been making trips to the space station for 7 years now, and today it's still the only vehicle around that can deliver significant cargo both to and from the orbiting laboratory. Back in 2010, SpaceX became the first private company to send a spacecraft to orbit and return it to Earth. And 2 years later, Dragon became the first privately developed spacecraft to visit the International Space Station. Since then, SpaceX has made a total of 19 trips to the ISS, and we're under contract with NASA for a total of 26 of these cargo resupply missions. Tonight, Dragon will be carrying dozens of research payloads to the space station, including research in the National Laboratory. which is operated by the Center for the Advancements of Science and Space, also known as CASIS.
CASIS.
There are more than 25 payloads included on this mission sponsored by the National Lab. The most payloads that CASIS has sent on a SpaceX CRS mission to date. And some of the company's research projects are from organizations you may be familiar with, such as Nickelodeon, Goodyear Tires, and Adidas. The National Lab payloads represent a diverse group of research investigators.
Apparently they're going to T-minus 30 seconds in order to decide this one.
Now let's take a look at some of the groundbreaking research from CASIS that will be on board tonight's CRS-18 mission.
Investigations sponsored by the International Space Station U.S. National Laboratory are primed for launch on SpaceX's 18th Commercial Resupply Services mission to the orbiting laboratory. When we say that this launch is packed with research, we mean it. This launch has more payloads than we have ever sent on a single mission. Private sector companies, academic researchers, STEM projects, life and physical sciences, all on this mission. So let's get an idea about some of the payloads that are launching on SpaceX CRS-18. The Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company is sending what they hope is the first of many investigations to the ISS National Lab. This initial experiment will evaluate the formation of silica particles in microgravity. Silica is a common material used in consumer tires. However, silica and rubber are materials that don't easily bond. Can the microgravity environment of the space station allow Goodyear to find silica morphologies not possible on Earth?
Space tires.
So, this could lead to improvements in fuel efficiency and other performance factors in consumer tires. The space station is an ever-evolving research platform, and NASA and the ISS National Lab are constantly sponsoring new facilities on the orbiting laboratory to increase the capacity for innovative research. This launch,
First stage engine chilling has
automated bioprinter for
okay.
use in space,
First
will
stage
make
engine
space
chilling has begun.
Developed by TechShot, this bioprinter will initially seek to print cardiac.
What they do there with engine chilling is they pump liquid oxygen into the pipes of the engine to cool it down before they flow more, like put a little bit in to cool it down so that when they throw all of it in there, it doesn't you know, break. And as well, when it fires, they don't want it to melt itself. So
not many young students understand the term non-Newtonian fluidics in a microgravity environment.
So that's what the engine chilling is about.
Every young student is familiar with
A little bit until
so on this mission,
strong backward attack.
Time and Space will make its way to station for a variety of demonstrations to educate students on the basic concepts of fluid flow and microgravity paired with normal gravity conditions on Earth. So there you have it. Advanced materials, industrial biomedicine, education payloads, new facilities, and repeat flight partners. This mission represents the demand that continues to build as more researchers and companies recognize the unique potential for sustained R&D in microgravity. To learn more about all ISS National Lab sponsored payloads on this mission and how to become part of the space station research community, visit issnationallab.org.
You've learned about just a small sample of the dozens of research experiments that Dragon will take up to the space station.
Okay, the clouds don't look that much worse.
On Twitter for more information on the exciting microgravity
Maybe there's a chance. Probably not, but maybe.
One other piece of cargo on board
Almost certainly not, actually.
It's a new International Docking Adapter, or IDA-3.
Yeah, because you blew up the first one.
International Space Station. IDA-3 attaches to the Harmony node of the ISS and can accommodate commercial crew program vehicle dockings, including the first spacecraft to launch astronauts from U.S. soil since the Space Shuttle. IDA-3 is identical to the International Docking Adapter 2, or IDA-2, we sent on CRS-9 in the summer of 2016. IDA-2 was actually used by SpaceX during our first uncrewed flight test, Demo 1, in March of this year. And later this summer, 2 Expedition 60 crew members will perform a spacewalk to permanently install that IDA-3.
Cool.
Now we're just about T-minus 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Strong backward track is happening now. You'll see this lean back about a degree and a half.
An update that the weather is currently no-go. However, we're going to continue to try to push until the last few seconds of the launch, hoping we'll get that opportunity.
No-go weather, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. So,
Falcon 9 is performing a series
rip.
of final health checks on its primary communications, avionics, and propulsion systems as it prepares for flight. And as we mentioned earlier, we're currently loading fuel and liquid oxygen into the propellant tanks. Right now,
this is basically scrubbed at this point, so
fully loaded on both the first and second stage, and liquid oxygen is nearly fully loaded on both the first and second stage, with that finishing at T-minus 2 minutes. Right about now, we're also performing engine chill-in on the M1D engines. That's where we inject a small amount of super chilled liquid oxygen to prepare those engines for full propellant flow.
On the bright side, we've got a good chance from the Starhopper tonight. So
sufficiently chilled in later on in the countdown. Earlier as well, we performed thrust vector control actuations.
That won't happen for another couple hours. So
the engine wiggle test, where we'll wiggle the nozzle slightly to make sure it'll be go for flight. The first stage engines perform a similar wiggle in just a few seconds before ignition. Coming up at T-minus 1, Falcon 9 will transition into startup, at which point it will autonomously guide the rocket through the rest of the countdown. The launch director will issue a go for launch at T-minus 45 seconds. A few seconds before liftoff, the engines are ignited. Then at T-minus 0, the rocket is released from the hold-down clamps, and the transporter erector, that truss structure on the left side of the vehicle, will separate, will pull away.
Yeah, as you can see, it leans back about 1.5 degrees, but then when it launches, it'll lean back about 45 degrees. So just to get these little pipes and umbilicals out of the way of the out of the flimmy bits way.
So with that, let's listen in to the countdown nets for terminal count.
So this is basically scrubbed, so I'll just leave it on so that if there's any small chance of it launching. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance of that happening, Mr. ISS app. So yeah, I'll just leave this here.
Falcon 9 in startup. Dragon is in startup.
At T-minus 30 seconds, the decision will be made, so in about 15 seconds. Almost certainly not gonna happen. And if there's a hold, it's game over for today. And here we go.
Hold, hold, hold on countdown 1.
Yep, there we go. Well, good shout. Good try.
Please proceed to non-crew scrub, post-static fire procedures.
So, Starhopper.
As you just heard on the launch nets,
we'll let this go until the end.
Weather. Now,
but
weather has
yeah.
been tough. There was a tropical depression in the area that's just made
See you for Starhopper coverage in a little bit.
And unfortunately, today's mission was an instantaneous window, so that means that we'll be going to tomorrow's backup window for the launch. Now, the great thing is the vehicle is healthy, both Falcon 9 and Dragon, and so that gives us a great opportunity for launch tomorrow, July 25th at 6:01 p.m. Eastern Time, or 10:01 p.m. Universal Coordinated Time. So we'll see you back tomorrow for live coverage of our launch to the International Space Station.
copy on me?
Lab, I got you loud and clear.
Okay,
10,
next
four. Just need to
next
chime in real
CRS-18
quick.
launch
Apologize for that
opportunity is
hiccup
tomorrow
there.
at 6 p.m.
I can hear you loud and
Make
clear.
sure y'all gets the liking again.
Here we have
Hopefully
the
we was like that.
Starhopper coverage. At no earlier than 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time this afternoon, so that's a couple hours ago. Okay. Well, an hour ago. Right. I don't know. Time zones are hard.
Well, everybody, it looks like the CRS-18
The window
is
opens at
off
6
for
p.m.
tonight,
Central, but the
and
hop
they
isn't
will
expected
be
until
on again for tomorrow.
later in the test
Let's
window.
keep our fingers crossed that tomorrow we get some
Safest
better
bet is
weather
just to watch the
and we get a
streams
break on the weather.
and monitor when it's venting. Okay, so like this.
Otherwise, if they have to scrap tomorrow, it won't be until August 1st for their next launch attempt. And we certainly don't want to have to wait all that long. So let's hope for tomorrow. And in the meantime, we can all sit here and
So probably
we got a
looking
little
at
bit of
6:30
venting
or
going
later.
on over there by the
6:30 here
helium
or
tanks.
later.
And that's a good sign. That means a pressurization is taking place. So hopefully soon we'll start seeing some more aggressive activity over here by the hopper. So everybody watch, keep your eyes peeled, and let's hope we get a hopper launch here tonight. For those of you who may be just joining us, welcome to this 24-hour live stream of SpaceX activities here in Boca Chica, Texas. We welcome you all to this stream. Hope you're enjoying your evening.
Hopefully this still happens in the day.
Us from the CRS-18 launch
Because
attempt.
if it happened here, that would be glorious.
And hopefully soon we'll be seeing some aggressive activity from
Alright, let him talk now.
And we hope to get a launch from Hopper tonight. Hey, Stephen, thank you. Stephen Lanier, thank you very much for that contribution. That's definitely appreciated. It will be put to good use by Lab Padre to keep this stream improving all the time. Those of you who just joined us, thanks for coming over, and we hope you're going to enjoy your evening. I'd like to remind you that we have a very nice, friendly, cordial chat, and we have a large subscriber base of SpaceX nerds and space nerds in general. We love everything about space, space flight, space launches, and SpaceX. This is a 24/7 stream. We hope that you will consider subscribing to our stream and also hit that like button for us. It's important that our Patreon, our leader, Lab Padre, gets the support to keep this stream going, to keep this stream improving all the time. If you think this is worthwhile, why don't you consider joining our Discord channel and also become a Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You'll have access to numerous special features, both on Discord as well as on our Patreon channel. So again, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you all here. We'll try to keep you updated on the activities as we go through the evening. And we'll all keep our fingers crossed that we'll see a launch of Hopper tonight. So thank you again for being here, and let's just keep our fingers crossed that we get a launch.
Okay, so
Maple Tree
the window
Studios, thank you
opens
so much
at
for
6
being
at
here.
6
We
o'clock
appreciate that
Central
contribution.
Time, but it's not going to launch at the start of the window. It's going to launch sometime after that. Hopefully not too long after that. Probably looking at 6:30 to 7 at probably the earliest. Unfortunately, they deserve to take the time to get it right. See some birds flying around. They were doing some RCS stuff they're testing earlier.
For those of you who may just be joining us, if you look at the screen in front of you right now on the upper left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a live status. And what that does is it tells us the various steps that have to happen before the launch occurs and what happens after the launch. As you'll see right now, the road is closed. It closed it just shortly after 1600 hours, and the pad was cleared just shortly after that, 1612. So that means that we're all set, pretty much ready to go for a launch. Daniel Weigert, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. That's way over and above and beyond the Call of Duty. It is so appreciated. Thank you again. Your support is really appreciated. The next things that we're looking for are the telltale signs that a launch is starting to progress and getting ready. And that's when we start seeing some venting from the you see the three tall tanks on the left side of the screen. Those tanks hold liquid
I'd like to give
oxygen
a
and
gigantic
methane.
shout out to Daniel Weigert. Thank you. Thank you very, very kindly for your donation. So tonight we've got a scrub due to the weather, and SpaceX will be trying again tomorrow at 6:01 Eastern Daylight Time. And of course, we still have some hoppy. Hoping for a little hoppy hop this evening.
Caitlin Gray, thank you so much for that contribution. That's appreciated. Thank you very much from Russia. We appreciate you being here with us. Thank you.
And thank you to Catline Gray. Hope I'm saying that correctly. She said, thank you for the stream. Best regards from Russia. Thank you very, very kindly.
Okay, so there will be an official SpaceX stream of the hop test. I don't know when that's going to go live, but until then, we'll watch Lab Padre's stream of this. Lab Padre is great. They have a great angle here. You know what? I'm going to actually change my description to credit them. Starhopper Lab test coverage, Lab Padre.
Daniel, thank you so much for your generosity and support. Greatly appreciated. Stephen Lerner, thank you so much, man.
Steve
Who else do we have here? Caitlin Gray.
Okay, that's a bit loud. Okay. I'm just gonna let this go until we got some coverage, because it's not gonna happen for another, what, 23 minutes at earliest.
Generosity and support. Greatly appreciated. Stephen Lerner.
Okay. Here we go. So what are we gonna do?
Hey Lab, can you read me?
We're just gonna go on this one, this stream, until the official one comes up, then we'll switch over to that. Excuse me. Hey there, Nibbles. I don't know if you're still here or not. We're just waiting for the Starhopper to hop.
Well, we want to take this opportunity to welcome again all.
There's not really anything going on at the moment. You know, it's probably going to be a bit before that has anything happening, so how about I play a little bit of Sims 3, or 4 actually, until I get that, until that happens. Just give me a second.